Hello, Kim Voigt at embody-light.com. How you doing? And how's my boy Eric? Love you.
I'm great. Eric loves you. I love you. Eric's been here for a little bit. I had to get the dog out so we could record, and the dog sees Eric, so he wouldn't come with me. So I'm like, you gotta come
Oh,
with me.
wow.
So then I
Eric, give him a little, is he
and this
scared?
dog come.
Is he
Mhm.
scared of Eric?
Oh no, he loves Eric. He wanted to hang out with him.
Oh, that's sweet. He always loved animals. Still
Mhm.
does, I guess. Okay, we are going to talk about something you suggested, you and Eric. How does Eric get the right souls for each session? And how maybe do you coordinate it all to meet everyone's needs? And also like to know, how can you bring in celebrities or other notable figures while so many other, mediums can't, seem to get in touch with them?
Well, okay. To start with, um, I always kind of think of Eric like I was telling you on the radio the other day, kind of like the wedding planner, where he's the coordinator who gets everybody involved. And so, he's just saying, so it's known ahead of time that you're going to have a session, Your, he's telling me each person has their own team of guides and angels that they work with, and he's in contact with them. So say somebody sets up a session, their guides are probably guiding them to which person to set up the session with, who would meet their needs most. And they set up this session.
Uh-oh, we froze. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
I can hear you. Yeah. So how does he do it? He's kind of like, he'll introduce different guides to different people. So say like somebody schedules a session with medium, their guides let them know if they're doing a channeling Eric session, and then they kind of all work together to coordinate it.
Ah,
He says with certain people, certain mediums, he might stay the whole session if he needs it. Some he just, sees that they're doing just fine, they don't need anything, and he'll go maybe check on someone else.
well, how does he decide that? Oh, go ahead.
He gets, well, he can tell, but he gets, he's making me feel like it's almost like a light or an impulse when somebody else is calling to him and needing his assistance.
Yeah.
So he gets called on a lot because he's well known.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, if there's like a celebrity that wants to, that the viewers want to see, he would approach them, see if they're willing, and, just make all the arrangements. He, one time when we were having a radio show and I was going to be the medium on it, and I really wasn't feeling very well that way. And that day I'm trying to decide, should I see if somebody wants to trade with me or should I do it? Eric says, no, don't worry, I got your back. And he said, I'll just guide Mom to the callers that, that will, because I was being a little triggered by things that
Oh,
aren't
yeah.
that, and he did. That radio show was just perfect. It was like, that was the easiest one I ever did,
Well,
So
yesterday you were, not yesterday, this Tuesday you were really good.
that's got a lot to do with Eric. And then the other thing he's talking about here, when people, it's a little easier for people when they're doing channeling Eric, because, and this is the other reason I always bring up Jay, just so you understand that he's always with me. He just can't not be a part of me. But because you are his twin, that the mediums are, and he's connected to you, that the mediums are very easily able to connect through you to him and get the messages.
Oh, wow.
And so you're a big part of it. He's making me feel like, how would you explain it?
We're a tag team.
A continuum of one energy. He's the energy from the upper dimensions, and you're grounding it into the physical realm, and you're working together. He's saying, like, for what I say I do for the creation of heaven on earth.
Oh, wow.
And so a lot of it's got to do with you and your ability to reflect him, is why we can get such clear messages from Eric.
We make a good team.
Yeah.
what about the newer mediums that are just, sticking their toe in the water? Um, how do you help them? Or do you? I don't know.
He does. If they're open to him, and he's telling me he's even approached people who have no idea who he is. But if he's open to that, if they're open to them, he starts teaching them how to do things and how to channel. And he encourages, people to write his mom, tell him that they've heard from him, that kind of thing. Do you get a lot?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I do. So how
Yeah.
many do you think new up and coming mediums do you think you work with at a time? I mean, I know it fluxes and stuff, but more or less.
Let's see, is it 10? Maybe a little more.
A little more than 10, like between 10 and 20, something like that. All right. What if you've,
Yeah.
do you ever,
10's average.
okay. Do you ever come to, a block where, okay, dude, you're not ready, blah, blah, blah. You need to do this or that. And, then we'll come back and work together.
He says yes, he does, but it's not really. It's kind of like he'll point him in the direction of maybe you still have some emotional wounding or something, so you're blocking what we're saying. So he might say, you got to take some time to work on this, and saying even if that person might not be at the point where they can even hear him when that's going on, but the universe would just bring down those situations to help him clear. And then he said he'd reapproach them later.
Okay, or maybe even diet tips, you recommend things like that. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that can get in the way.
He brings a lot through. He really does, yes.
Okay, so what about people who are grieving, or even people who are not grieving? They want to communicate to their loved ones. Do you help individuals that way?
He does. He works from his side, he tells me, to help the individuals over there learn how to focus their energy and communicate with people on this side. And that's a lot what comes through in readings with him too, where he's telling the person I'm reading how to connect with their loved ones that they are trying to connect with them.
Wait, the ones you're reading, the deceased?
My client.
Your client. Yes, okay.
He'll explain to them how to connect with their deceased loved one.
Oh,
so
okay.
There's a lot of that. And he says the main thing with the grieving is, he says so many spirits try to get through to their families, but they can't because they're grieving and their heart is blocked. So it's something like a lot of people will tell themselves, this is enough, I can't grieve anymore, I have to go on, and they'll stop the grieving process. And then they block the heart off so they can't hear or feel their relatives.
Yeah, it's science behind it. And I've said this many times before, but for those who have not heard it, I'm going to annoy the ones who have already heard it. But anyway, everything vibrates at its own specific energy. Everything, even different thoughts and emotions. This mug, I mean, even matter is energy. I mean, Einstein called matter frozen light. And the frequencies are all on this very long electromagnetic spectrum where there's everything. I mean, there's the X-rays and cosmic rays and microwaves and all that, and we're in that little bitty sliver called the visible range. That's where things vibrate low enough that we can see our 3D world. So, and our spirits, archangels, all that, Eric, deceased, they vibrate outside of that visible range. That's why we can't see them. All right. So, but if you're grieving, or if you're having very big expectations, then your vibration is going to be very low, and it's going to go all the way down to the bottom of the visible range. So it's so hard to climb down there for a spirit or whoever to go down to that level, to lower their vibration so the vibrations can get at least close to matching. And that's what we say, things like, I'm depressed. It is. Your vibration is actually depressed. Or I feel so low, because it is low. Or the opposite. I feel as high as a kite, in stuff like that. So it's important, if you want to talk to your loved one, you have to find a way to raise your vibration, dancing, gardening, listening to your favorite music, stand-up comedy, whatever it takes.
Hmm. And he's just saying to be patient with yourself. Everybody's different, and let yourself grieve as you need to grieve. But what he's saying, the main thing is don't stop it before it's over, because you'll talk to yourself.
Yeah. So what is the number one tip you seem to tell everybody, not just grievers, but just individuals who want to talk to their loved ones on the other side?
His main thing, well, they usually have questions, that we answer, but his main thing that he comes through me always teaching them is how they can learn to recognize when they're around, and how they can feel it. The other thing he tells me too, when people are grieving, because spirits on the other side are connected to us energetically still, they can feel that grief, and so that kind of pulls them down a little bit as well. So, if not for yourself, as you continue to heal and raise your vibration, it helps your loved one that's passed on to raise their vibration as well.
Oh, all right. So, but different spirits on the other side, deceased loved ones, they have different skills. I mean, some are better at manifesting pennies, and some are better at smells, and whatever. Do you help the spirits with their skills, and do you also let the loved one on this side know what to look for, and how the deceased loved one is going to best communicate with them?
He does. And like during a reading, all parties are present, the deceased loved one, Eric, and the person that's grieving. And so it'll be like this four-way conversation, telling them, he'll offer like specific things that they can do. And then sometimes what shows up, Eric's just pointing this out, that it's actually something else buried in deeper, and they're afraid to complete the grieving, because then they're going to have to deal with that other thing. They don't know this consciously, but unconsciously.
What other thing?
Say they've got some trauma that's buried or something.
Okay.
So they'll use
so grief is a distraction, basically.
Yeah, hold on to it so that they don't feel that trauma. Right.
Okay.
Right. And then he says, go ahead.
No, go.
Oh, he was just explaining how it's kind of just like for the souls over there, like it is for us over here. Because how's he explaining it? Okay, so like how certain mediums receive information in different ways, it's the same with them. And so like when he's telling me to talk about this, when he communicates with me or anybody, he communicates and matches whatever their style is, however they can bring through the information. So for me, it's a variety of things. I'm very clairaudient, so I will often hear him, but not always. Usually it sounds like chipmunks having a conversation, but sometimes you hear a voice that's like, and he is just standing right next to you when you hear that voice, like he's standing right there, like he did the other day when we were.
Yes, I remember.
And on the radio, yeah.
What's going on with the hair here? Uh-oh. Down. Go ahead.
He said that's an antenna for you to receive higher insights, Mom.
Yeah, right. Okay, so so what is the easiest things, as a general rule, for spirits the way to communicate, like smells or and also what's the hardest thing for them to do? Probably physically manifest in front of the person.
Eric says yes, that is. He said the easiest way to have them let you know that they're around is sensation.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Like the goosebump sensation.
Yeah.
Okay. Like some people, like you might feel a brush against your cheek. Maybe you might feel like you just got kissed on the cheek or something.
Oh,
He says, say it out loud. Was that you, Grandma, or whatever? And you'll know by the way your body reacts. So you'll get like. But he says, just start kind of playing with those feelings and ask me, was that? And see what happens.
Wow. So you were
Yeah.
talking about how sometimes you can hear him like his own voice, and sometimes they just sound like chipmunks. What makes it happen sometimes and sometimes not? What are factors? Is it the distance away? Is it, the way you're feeling? Is it because Eric wants to talk like he's, inhaled a bunch of helium? I don't know. What?
Um, well, so it depends on a lot of factors. For one thing, it does have to do something with the medium and how open they are to it. And he's just telling me, because I am clairaudient, that's one of my biggest gifts, is that it's really easy for me to hear and it's really easy to bring that through. The other thing is I have so many crystal bowls in my office, it like
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and it's something with his vibration. And so he's saying it kind of is like I'm picturing like a wave, and that like he just has to capture the wave just at the right time, and then like
Oh, the sound, like a sound wave? Or the,
let me check. He's saying yeah. He's saying yeah, yeah, like that.
okay, cool.
Um, and then he says too, like them, because it's not that automatically you cross over and you're filled with insight and you have all the answers. They still have things that they don't understand, that they're working toward, that they will eventually understand, but they're working toward. So that comes into play.
Wait, how does it come? Wait, before I forget, how does that come into play when there's no linear time over there?
Well, he says, say for instance, say somebody died and maybe they didn't fulfill their purpose, or they really messed up and they feel guilty and that kind of thing for a while. It might take them a while
Oh,
to
okay.
work through it and understand what went into it, how that happened in past life things.
So maybe they
And
still kind of like got the human characteristic of linear time a little bit?
not really linear time, but just coming into understanding of um, saying it's more like the big scope of things and how one thing played upon the other and how one
Oh, okay.
lifetime together.
Okay.
And so he's saying like, and so like, like he's given me the example of, well, he said you could use like the example of what happened with me, where I had these things that were traumatic from other lifetimes that I didn't specifically remember. And so at one point, if somebody would have wanted me to channel something where it had something to do with abusing children or murder or pedophilia or something,
Oh, yeah.
it would have provoked such a feeling in me that I would have blocked it. I wouldn't have, not intentionally, I just wouldn't have been able to get the information.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's kind of the same for them till they worked out and cleared and understand things that can be hard for them to communicate with us because they don't understand it themselves yet.
Yeah. So, are there ever any deceased, even who have been there for a long time, who just, I don't want to talk to anybody over there on Earth? Is there anybody, do you get the spirits that just don't want to?
Um, he's saying rarely, but it's kind of more to the point where there gets to be a point where there's interference if they keep communicating. Because, okay, so we're to be learning to grow spiritually and to create a reality, all that kind of stuff. And if you have someone on the other side that you think is providing all the answers and is going to fix situations that you got yourself in trouble to, it's kind of disempowering you. You're not learning on your own. So then
Oh,
he's
yeah.
saying, in those points, at those points or those times, that the deceased on the other side would actually step back.
Well, what about in the case where, I mean, like in my book, love knows no boundaries, even death, and we shouldn't just stop communicating. We can continue to have a relationship. So what if it's like, hey, Uncle Joe, I just want to talk to you every once in a while, see how you're doing. What do you think about your granddaughter and things like that? Are there
He's
people
saying,
who don't want to do that?
that's a different thing. That wasn't what he was referring to.
No, I
He's
know.
saying there are like people that are like, Uncle Fred, should I go to the store now or at 2 o'clock?
Oh yeah, no.
Like
I'm
that,
talking. I'm talking about just like the relationship they used to have in the physical. They should
Right.
be able to continue that, but I guess
Yeah.
there could be spirits who don't want to do that. Is there? Are there?
He's saying that it's not really that they don't want to. They might be busy doing something else, or involved in another project. But he's saying it's more like time to, is it the best fit for the person on the planet to continue with their spiritual role?
Oh, I see. But gosh, they could split themselves off infinitely. It seems like, so if you have somebody who's like, hey, I really miss Uncle Joe. I want to talk with him and I don't want him to interfere in my life, but I just want to keep that relationship going. Does Eric ever encourage Uncle Joe to help out because of the needs of the person, not grieving or anything, but just, hey, I miss this?
Um, Eric's saying, see, Eric has a unique perspective. This is what he's telling you right now. Because he's still so, I wouldn't say tethered, but he still hangs on to the physical world so that he can do his job.
Oh,
He
yeah.
he's
Yeah.
like here and there both times, and
Yeah.
not all girls can do that. So he's saying it's different with him because, for one thing, he still remembers how we felt.
Yeah.
Somebody who's been there for maybe 50 years might not remember quite the human emotions. So sometimes he may step in and explain that. But he's
Okay.
saying usually, between the family members, that uncle would be involved and would know what's best for their niece.
Okay.
They wouldn't need him to tell him.
Okay.
But if it ever is necessary, and times he would step in. And it's just that it's not that they leave permanently. It's just that they might step back a little and say, no, you got to go through this on your own. You can't rely on me. It's like,
Right.
Eric's saying, compare it to children. You can't do everything for a child.
No, I'm just talking about just like going to coffee, two girls going to coffee and catching up, that kind of thing. All right, so go ahead. You need to remark on
He
that?
just said, absolutely, that's no problem.
Okay.
It's just where there's a dependence and, that kind of thing.
All right, now there's this very well-known spirit, Matthew, and his mother communicates to him telepathically, and there's been a lot of Matthew books, or maybe there's just one, I don't know. Is he a spirit guide similar to you?
Eric's is similar, but we've got different purposes.
Well, what's his purpose?
A bridge.
Okay.
Initially, and I explained this on the radio the other day, but maybe everybody didn't see it, but initially he started off, and it was karmic too, you guys agreed to do this, but initially he started off as a bridge between the physical world and the spiritual world, teaching people that, their loved ones are there on the other side wanting to communicate with you, and teaching, as well. And as I've explained, he's continued to grow and expand. Now, not only does he do that, it's like he's opened up another realm, and he's a bridge between not only the physical world, but also more of the, I guess you would call it, galactic or universal kind of energies.
Oh, wow.
Like star beings and that kind of thing. Like,
cool. So your awareness has expanded? Is that why?
His awareness has expanded, and he's helping them. That's what he's saying. He's helping other people on this plane to also expand their awareness into a bigger reality than just there's earth, there's heaven. When you die, you go here, and there's nothing else, because that's what a lot of people thought. And then you come back and you live and you go back and forth. And he says that's actually much more expansive. And so now he's kind of a guide to bring in those energies all the way to the earth plane. So he's making me feel like it's just really almost like he got elongated. Like he worked in these two dimensions now, and now he's stretched. And
he always wanted to be taller than he was. That's awesome. Just kidding. Early on, Eric, when we first started having sessions, you said that your job was a spirit guide, and they're very common, just like cabs in New York. what makes you different from those other taxi cabs now, if there is any difference?
Well, he says it was my desire and your desire to grow and turn this into something that would help help other people with their grieving situations. So he's saying it was desire, intent, and a whole lot of love sent to him and you.
Yeah, and probably a contract
The
to
contract,
help
yeah.
me and our family grow spiritually and all that stuff. So are you what does the usual spirit guide do? Just kind of nudge, people in this direction or that? They
He
don't
says,
have as many plates on the pole.
yeah, Eric's got a lot of people that he assists with, where he's saying, like, usually you're going to have a spirit guide that, and often a spirit guide is an ancestor, someone who's been in your family line. Not always, though, but he says you're going to have a spirit guide that's kind of just their main project.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what most of them do. Like they have one individual or maybe a group of individuals that they guide.
So they could be the spirit guides. They come in and out according to the needs. Like if somebody wants to write a book, then all of a sudden the spirit guide. But the guardian angel, is that the one that's with you from birth to death? Is that different from a spirit guide?
Um,
Or is guardian angel just a type of spirit guide, but that's with you the whole time?
Well, the difference between a spirit guide and a guardian angel is a spirit guide has lived on the earth. An angel has never had a physical incarnation.
I got you.
And so the guides are a little more able to understand us as kind of.
Oh, because they have been human before.
Right. And so, like an angel, say if you were communicating with an angel telling them something's wrong, I'm upset, they would just probably sit there and go, oh, okay, not really
Good luck with that.
That you're asking a question. Tell me how to get myself out of this mess, or,
Yeah.
Where a guide would pick that up.
Well, what the hell they're good for then, these guardian angels? Hi, Veronica. I think that's the name of mine.
Yeah, he said they hold the, like the pure memories and codings of the Creator.
Oh.
And so when we start decreasing and diminishing in vibration and having a physical incarnation, we lose some of that. And then it gets tainted by things that happen to us and things that people tell us and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like this vibration of the angel is kept pure so that knowledge is never lost.
Okay.
And then there are also, what I understand is some people, you'd hear them described as like angelic, that they actually, within their genetic lineage, there's like, and I don't know how it works, it's got to be some spiritual genetic lineage. But there's actually the lineage of like Archangel Michael. I've met a few people who have the lineage of Archangel Michael in them. So that also happens too. And so I'm kind of trying to get an understanding from Eric here. He's trying to tell me how or why that would be. And he's saying that is for the people on the earth to be able to carry that vibration and have it more in a little bit of a physical form, so it's not so etheric. So it's like that energy is grounded onto the planet.
Okay. But the guardian angels will sometimes, like when you're about to have a car crash and you're not supposed to go, they'll protect you, save you, right? And spirit guides, so they can intervene, where spirit guides can only nudge, whisper in your ear.
A spirit guide could intervene if it was a life-threatening situation.
Oh, wow. Have you ever done that before, Eric?
Yes. Do you remember this summer, Mom?
Oh, that's right. Thank you. How could I forget that?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so he says they do that, and then, so I'm asking him, so we've all heard of some car accident that some person showed up, pulled the people out of the car, and then was just gone.
Yeah. I've even seen that on weird YouTubes. I don't know if they're like
Yeah.
photoshopped or whatever, but
So I'm asking him, is that a guide or an angel that can do that? Angel, right? Angel.
yeah.
Saying, um, this is what I'm picking up. Because some of the times when he communicates, it's thought forms that I have to,
Oh yeah.
let me
Yeah.
see if this is what I'm picking up. It's like the angels hold a more powerful charge. And so if there was something that was happening right now, that they would be able to use that charge to like just kind of focus in on those individuals and take a physicality for a few minutes.
Right.
Where with a guide, they're kind of, I don't think they have that quite that strong of an energy where they can
Yeah.
do that like in the
Yeah.
moment right now. So that,
Right.
did I describe that correctly, Eric? I'm just gonna wait for an answer here. Yeah, he says that's how it is.
Okay. Like a guardian angel would have picked my ass up off the tundra and dropped me in front of the cabin. I'm kidding.
Mhm.
That's not true. Okay. What about an earth angel? I've heard of those.
That's what he's talking about when they have a little bit of the genetic lineage in them.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. All right. So, uh, so a lot of mediums, maybe you help them with this, have a problem when they're asked validation questions like, what did Uncle Joe, we'll use him, pick on him the whole day, um, have for breakfast before he died or something? Or what did he have in his pocket? Or they're
Mhm.
difficult, right? Because, you know, it can really mess up their self. I mean, it's too much of an expectation. It's scary. It creates anxiety in the medium, and that creates blocks. Is that right? Is that how that works?
He's saying, yeah, it does actually kind of create a block because then the medium's going, oh no, what if I can't get this? What if I get it
Yeah,
wrong?
I know.
And like for myself, I always tell people I wouldn't really necessarily call myself an evidential medium because that information doesn't come through in the beginning. But what happens is while we're having a conversation, I do bring this personality through, and these facts do come through.
Yeah, I've
But
noticed that.
when somebody says something, and it puts, he says it's the same for almost anybody, it puts you on the spot and it makes a block and you just don't get it.
So
Where,
validating information can come freely, but if you're put on the spot and asked by the sitter, it's yeah, it blocks you. Yeah.
he says certain mediums, other mediums, they're fine. They're fine. So it's just, he says everybody's got their individual style. And the other thing he's telling me too, just to talk about, like I was mentioning earlier, you don't have to be 100% healed of all your wounds to be a medium. And so a lot of people are mediums that are still carrying around wounds.
Yeah.
So like I was explaining earlier, certain people aren't going to get certain information. Say if you had a family member that was murdered,
Yeah.
and you have clients come to you and it's something about a murder, it's because of your own personal issues, it's going to be really hard for you. He says for one thing, because you can't be objective. He said just like they would tell you like in medical school, you couldn't treat your kids because you can't be objective.
Well,
He's
yeah.
saying,
I do all the time. Save myself some money. No,
yeah,
I'm kidding. All right. So what about same thing with names? I mean, some mediums can bring up names spontaneously, but most can't. It's very difficult.
Yeah, I have an issue with that. He said it's just, he said, um, for one thing, it has something to do with you know, the vibration of the word or the name and each, you know, each letter in there. Some mediums are just really good at picking that up and others aren't. But sometimes they'll drop hints. Like I'm not always really good at picking names.
Most aren't.
Yeah. But I was looking for the name of somebody or trying to find the name of someone and it wasn't coming to mind. Well, I let it go. And then later that day, I heard this old song playing in my mind. It was like from when I was a teenager or child. They used to have this beer called Miller Beer. If you've got the beer, I hear that playing in my mind, and I went, "Oh,
Miller.
that's who it is." So
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to let it go and then it comes to you later. But that doesn't work very well when you're doing a session.
Yeah, it's very
I'll tell you
difficult.
later when I get this. So.
Yeah, unless it's happening at the same time, but then, yeah. But Eric, do you help mediums overcome some of this? Since we're
He
talking
does.
about pretty much how you work.
Yeah, he does. He does. Um, he tries to help. When he was bringing that up, that's the way he would work. Just to try to
I gotcha.
get the information in through other ways if they weren't catching the name. So.
Okay. So what about like Jamie? That's the first one I started channeling notable figures with, and she could only do it if Eric brought them in. Um, why is that? Why? What is it about you that makes channeling, bringing in celebrities or notable figures so much easier?
Um, okay, it's kind of like making introductions. Like, you know, two friends introduces someone to another friend. Now they're all three friends and they're familiar with each other. He says, for one thing, it's kind of like he would be the person that would introduce the notable figure to that medium, get him used to the energy. And then because we're used to Eric's energy, he's just kind of there like a bridge. It's like he's helping the person, the notable figure kind of ride in the energy that the medium's already used to.
Oh, okay. Right in on the bridge between the medium and Eric.
Right, right. And
I mean,
so
I'm
that,
sure that there are a lot of mediums out there that don't need, you know, Eric's help. Might be, or maybe they're using somebody else, some other spirits bridging or
what,
whatever.
and what he's saying is a lot of the mediums he's helped, they've needed his help in the beginning. And then as they learn how to do things on their own, he kind of backs off. That's what he's
Oh, okay. So I just have two more questions. It's very difficult for mediums to channel for family and friends, and especially for themselves. Like, okay, I'm going to channel Eric. Tell me if I should do this with my business or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So,
And it is difficult to get answers for yourself.
and for
He,
family sometimes.
right. He's saying, first of all, what he's telling me, sometimes the best thing to do in that situation is just to ask the question and let it go and wait for it to come to you. Whereas it
Oh,
might come in a couple days and then I'll let you know then. He says that might be the best way to handle it.
okay. Why is it so hard, though, to channel for first yourself and then also family and friends?
Well, because you have to have the ability to be objective.
Oh, yeah. What if
So,
you're scared? What if you channel what if you're just channeling, getting the answer that you want, that sort of thing, right?
right. So, okay, say if you were my client and you had a sick child or something.
Yeah,
Well, and you want to know how that child's going to do, how they're going to get better, because I want your child to be better so badly.
I
Because I hope
know.
I'm in this place now of where, oh my God, this is another mother. And if I can't keep myself objective, I'm not going to get objective. I'm not going to be able to get the answers. So you have to be able to keep yourself objective, and you can't always with a family member.
Yeah. So
You know,
basically, you could just basically listen to the words or thought forms coming in and
mhm.
ignore the chatter in your mind.
Right, right. So,
That is
like,
not easy. God.
right. So say I'm channeling for you and say you're my sister, and then we find out that somebody did something in a past life that hurt you, and now I'm mad. So then the
Oh,
channel,
yeah.
so it's stuff like that because you're
Yeah.
too involved with them, too
You're
close to them.
human, man. That's the way it is.
And for yourself, you're just unsure. A
Yeah,
lot of
of
times,
course.
sometimes my medium friends and I will get together and we'll bounce things off each other. This is what I'm feeling. Is this how you interpret it? And it's like,
Oh,
yeah, but I got a little bit different. And then you're like, oh, okay, I couldn't see that. Yeah, thank you.
yeah. For psychics, it's also very difficult to get dates. Okay, when am I gonna move to Tennessee or whatever? Is that because time is linear here but not there, or because so much free will could be involved, etc.?
It's both things, meaning the free will thing. Say somebody asks, when am I going to get this? I'm trying to get a new job. I'm going to establish myself in a new career.
Yeah.
I'm going to open up a clothing store or something. But now I'm working in an office. Well, they want to know when this is going to happen. Well, before you can do that, before you can have your own business, you really want to clear up your issues around, where your heart was broken and it was a boyfriend. And so there's a problem with your, maybe your sacral chakra, and you're not drawing the right kind of situations to you. So you got to wait till you fix all these things, and then you're going to move into this job. So the person goes, okay, how long? And maybe 6 months, but then they go along and they didn't do any of their homework. So now,
There we go. Yeah.
So that's why we can't. Or the opposite. Maybe the person accelerated and did their homework quick.
Earlier, yeah.
This job in 2 months, or this business they wanted to start. So he said that's mostly it.
Okay.
Everything, and free will, especially if other people are involved.
All right. The last question I want to ask is not really related to this, but the power of the number 22. I mean, there's so much 22 going on. 22 somatic chromosomes, 22 branches on the tree of life, 22 blah blah, 22. What is going on? I mean, I think the whole universe can be explained with mathematics, and the universal language is mathematics, and that's why you can communicate to people that speak different languages, etc. But can you tell me about 22 and also how we can use that, the energy of 22 in our lives on a practical basis?
Well, he's telling me it's a master number. Anytime you see, like 22 or 222, 2 or 3 numbers together in a row, it's a master number that tell you things. Like 444, I believe that's a symbol of a guardian angel. 1111, twin flames. And so I'm kind of wondering if it's got something to do with the twin flames.
But why 22 somatic chromosomes and 22 branches of the tree of life? There was a whole list of a whole bunch of things involving the pyramids and all that.
Well, so what I'm kind of picking up, and I'm not sure if I'm getting this right, because I was going, well, that's twice 11. 22 is twice 11. So
okay.
What would that mean? That's why I'm going with that. And he's saying, like the twin flame frequency we think of, that's a certain vibrational match.
Yeah.
The 22 is like a higher vibrational match. So it's like where we merged is this what you're trying to say, Eric? Where 1111 is where we're merging with our twin flame energies, and 22, is that where? He's making me feel like it's more of a merging with like God type energies.
Yeah, I think because why else would it be so many, like 22 somatic chromosomes and 22 this, 22 that, in the world, in the universe, whatever.
Yeah, he's saying it's expansive and it expanded beyond the dimensions that we're normally used to, and it's a very close. Would it signal more of a direct connection with the Creator? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I want to be able to, I'm sure our listeners out there, be able to harness that power so we can communicate with the divine more easily. So what can we do? Is there a certain crystal that would help, or is there a certain frequency, a certain megahertz or hertz frequency that it vibrates at that we can listen to?
Well, he said the frequency would not be able to be held by the human ear, would not be able to be heard.
Well, it could be our higher self can hear. What is the frequency?
I think I don't have the knowledge base for him to be able to give me that information.
Well, maybe we're not supposed to know.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
because
there
I'm not really getting it.
is there a crystal that would help?
That's what I'm asking him. Herkimer diamond.
What's it called?
Herkimer diamond.
Oh God, that sounds expensive.
No, it's a crystal. It comes from Herkimer, New York.
Oh, okay.
And I'm asking him about moldavite. Moldavite.
Okay.
And I'm asking him because I'm getting the idea of zezulite. Was that one there? A zezulite, but not as strong. Here, I can show you what a Herkimer diamond looks like. I had one in my pocket.
Ooh. Well, I don't want to get all of those. Do I just get that one?
What would be best for your mom? Herkimer? Moldavite? Herkimer.
Okay. And I just wear it as a necklace or in my
Or
pocket?
put it in your pocket.
Okay. I guess that's it. Eric, do you want to share anything else about how you do your thing? Which you do so well. I'm so proud of you.
You know, he's saying it's a lot of fun for him to do what he does. And
Oh,
it's a
good.
pleasure. And he says he's also telling me that he visits a lot more people than recognize him.
Oh, okay.
You know, he says that a lot of channeling Eric fans will say, I wish Eric would prank me or visit me. And he's like sitting there going, I just did.
Oh, maybe
No,
that's why it's getting in their mind. Like, oh, I wish you would do it. Yeah,
yeah.
triggered that thought. All right. Well, thank you, Eric and Kim. I love you both. And you guys check out Kim. And if you listen to the radio show Tuesday, you'll find out all the different things she has to offer in the way of gifts and services. Check her out at embody-light.com. I will put that right here. Come visit me, Eric.
He says, I always do.
Okay.
He said, I'm right with you right now, Mama.
Oh, good. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you.